Hi everyone. So in this video we are going to learn what are the basics of Power Apps you need to know before you start the Power App development. So we are going to cover a simple definition of what is Power Apps, different types available, what are the data sources, what are the solutions, environments in Power Apps, what is delegation, what user roles we have in Power Apps, and at the end we'll see the editor overview. So first of all, what is Power App? So basically it's a low code no code platform which is used to build a custom business application for your organization. Power App basically used for the internal purpose like within the organization only. One of the best advantage of Power Apps is you don't have to be a professional developer in order to build application in this. Any citizen developer can build the application using Power Apps. It also simplifies the app development process and it also available on mobile as well, so it's completely responsive. Then there are a few features of Power Apps. Like first one is obviously low code no code development. So Power Apps is designed in such a way that both techie and non-techie users can build application using this, using minimal coding, or we can say a no coding. Then the next advantage of Power Apps is it also improve the development process. So as compared to traditional developments, Power Apps can easily build applications in less time. It also allows us to integrate with other Microsoft 365 services like Excel, SharePoint, Teams, and at the end it is also mobile friendly. Like Power Apps is responsive, but point to note that it is not responsive by default. We have to make the Power Apps Canvas application responsive in order to work on mobile as well. So we have the Power Apps application for the mobile phones. We need to download it and we can open application in mobile as well. Then there are the types available of the Power Apps like Canvas applications, model driven app, and portals. So Canvas app allows us to create a custom application without writing a code, or we can say a low code. It uses a drag and drop interface for app building. Like if you know about WordPress, Wix, Webflow, all these are website builder tools. Or what they does, they gives us a UI interface like putting elements on the web pages. So similarly, we have the same kind of UI here. We just have to select the controls we want and we just need to put appropriate formula or function on those in order to work. In model driven app, it uses a model driven approach for the app development. It uses the CDS, that's what we call as a common data service, as a data platform. And portals are majorly external facing website or applications where we can share data and allow interactions with the user who are not the part of our organization. It's simple like a window to your data, often used for the customer self-service things and all. Then we have data sources. So data sources in the Power Apps are the sources of information that your app can access and display. So in simple word, we can say that data sources, using data sources, we have to choose like from where we need to display the information in Power Apps. Let's say you have the SharePoint list which contains the employee information that you need to connect with Power Apps to display the employee information in table where you can apply filters, you can search any employees you want, you can add, delete or update any existing entries. So for that we have the SharePoint list that we call as a data source. It can be Excel list also. Power Apps allows us to connect with different Office 365 services as I mentioned. Like we have the connectors for that. We just need to select the connector and connect it through the Power Apps and we can do all the operations we want. Then we have the main concept called delegation. So this is practical based, but we'll see it theoretically because it's very important for Power Apps development. So in simple words, delegation is assigning tasks to someone instead of doing it for yourself. So in Power Apps definition, what we called is transfer a specific task to a data source to handle instead of having Power Apps to process them. So we'll see by example. So just imagine you have the SharePoint list, which is called as employee information, and you have, let's say, 10,000 or 5,000 records in that. So what you need to do, you need to filter out, let's say, in that list we have the employee department, which might be IT, marketing, sales, accounting, security, all these departments, all employees are together. But in Power Apps, we need to apply filter so we can see only IT department employee. So this is our SharePoint list. So what delegation is, Power Apps will assign this task to SharePoint. Like he'll say, SharePoint, I want employee information who are in IT department. So what SharePoint does, it will filter the record first and then pass that filtered record into Power Apps. So first it will check all the records in his database. So he will find some 5 or 10 people from the organization in IT department. SharePoint will filter out all those employees and then he'll give it to Power Apps. So here the thing is, Power Apps is not doing the filtering. He's assigning his filtering task to the SharePoint. So SharePoint can filter IT department employee record, and once the record is filtered, then he can pass the information to Power Apps. So the first thing is, here we are minimizing the data processing time, because in Power Apps we are not doing filtering. SharePoint does filtering for us. And the main advantage is it is efficient when dealing with large data set to minimize the number of record transfer between Power Apps and data source. So as I mentioned, like if you have the 10,000 records or 20,000 records in your SharePoint list, so instead of doing filtering in Power Apps, it will do SharePoint only. So delegation is only supported by specific data source currently. So Microsoft has its official documentation where it is all displayed, like which data sources are delegable. So we need to choose data source also. Then we have the concept called solutions. So in simple words, solution is a container or a package that hold one or more application flows and components. So basically, let's take a one scenario like you have 4 to 5 canvas application, 2 3 Power Automate flows. They need to migrate from one environment to another environment. So instead of migrating all those application and flows one by one, we bundle them together into a single solution. Then we export the one solution and import into another environment. So instead of manually exporting one by one, we have to create a solution for it, add all the applications, components, Power Automate flows inside that, and we export the single solution. So in solution also we have two different types. One is managed solution, second one is unmanaged solution. So unmanaged solutions is for developers, like if we have built one application in our development tenant and you need to pass it on to another environment on another tenant. So there also we have the ability to change something. In that case you need to choose unmanaged solution. But managed solution is what, if we develop something in development environment and we are moving it to production environment, so we have to make sure that no one is able to change into managed production environment. So in that case we use managed solution for it. So unmanaged solution can be editable by anyone, but if you export the solution as a managed solution, then no one is able to edit it. Then we have the environments in Power Apps. So we can say that environments are isolated containers of our Power Apps, and it they are used to group related resources and controlled environment for development, testing, and production. So let's say if you are building an application in dev environment, we have separate development environment for it, separate UAT or staging environment for it, and a production environment for it. So it's the standard process, or we can say the best practice is to have three different environment for total application lifecycle management. So the main advantage of the environment is they provide isolation and security for it, because if we change something in one environment, it will not affect the solution we have in another environment. Then it helps us to manage the different stages of app development. Like initially, when we develop app, then it will go to development environment. For QA testing, we have to deploy it to testing or stage or UAT environment for UAT, and then everything is fine. Then we move it to production environment. So these are the different stages we have to manage. So that's why we use environments. Then also we have control access to this data and customizations. So we have ability to choose who can access and what they can do. And at the last, it's better for security, scalability, and easy to manage. Then the roles here is once we develop any Power Apps application, then we need to share it to the other users as well, right? So in Power Apps, we have three roles: owner, co-owner, and user. So let's say if I create an app, I will be the owner of the application, and there will be one owner of the application. If you have to share the app with others, there you have two different options: co-owner and user. So co-owner has ability to edit the application, and user have ability to play with the application. User do not have ability to edit anything inside application. So the one thing to note here, if you have a SharePoint list that is connected to Power Apps for different operations, and if you are sharing it to user, so only app sharing will not work. You also have to share the data sources with users. Then all these theoretical things we have done, then we'll see one editor overview, like what Power Apps look like, what are different settings available, what are the different options available there. So let me switch over to my desktop. So here what you need to do, you need to go to make.powerapps.com. So you will see the interface like this. So on the left hand side, you will see home, create, and here are the learning materials. We have solution, dataverse tables and all. On the top right corner, you have the environments. As I mentioned, you have the different environments. So you can create environments here. We are going to see all these things on our upcoming videos. So here we have the environments. And here we have the application that I have recently built. So to create a new application, I just need to create a blank canvas app. Here I will select create. I will put a name as Power Apps Training. Here we have the different layouts option available, tablet and phone. So if you are building an application specifically for mobile devices, then you need to select the phone layout. But if you are going to use it as a responsive application, then you need to select tablet layout. So this is the important point to note here. So once the app is created, you will see this interface appears here. Like on the left hand side, you will see all this tree view. Tree view where we have different control screens or images we add. We are going to see all of them here. In insert, we can insert the controls like we can use labels, we have text input, we have buttons. Then in the data, we can connect to different data source. As I mentioned, Power Apps allows us to connect with different Microsoft 365 Office services. So you just need to click on add data, and here you can find bunch of connectors available. So let's say if you just want to create to a SharePoint list, you just need to click on SharePoint. And then it will display all the SharePoint sites available into your Office 365 tenant, and you just have to select one single site and select the list you want to connect. It will also have the SQL. Then in the media, here we can add images we want to use in Power Apps. In Power Automate section, we are going to create a flow that triggers from the Power Apps. Then in the variable section, we can find all the variables we are using inside our Power Apps. Then here the monitor and test. So this is basically for QA, and monitor is for development purpose. So once you play the application, you will see how app performing behind the scenes. So if it get any error, it will show the complete detail of that error. So it's similar like if you are running any web application and in the network tab we see the error. So it's similar like this. So in the search we can search by control name, and if you want to replace anything, we have the replace section here. So similarly we have the insert tab also, and all these are the branding settings we have. Then if I click on settings, then it will show us the application name, description, what icon you want to show to app. Here we have the different icons available, or you can also add a custom image if you have. Then we have the display options. We have the landscape display, portrait display. Here by default, if you choose the tablet layout, it is by default in 16:9 ratio. But if you want a custom layout, you also have the ability to put custom layout if you're designing specifically for any single screen. Then these are the scale to fit. If this on, then your application is not responsive. If you want to build a responsive application, you need to turn off this setting, and then you can play with the responsive controls. Here in upcoming features, you will see the deprecated one, the features which are in experimental, and features which are in preview. And in the support you will see the authoring version, session ID and all. So currently this is not useful for us. Then in this section you will find the share icon if you want to share this application with another users. So the app checker, this is important for us, like if we get any errors in the formula, so we'll get the notifications here. So it has the 4 types formulas. If you get error by running in formula, it will display here. Runtime error, you have the accessibility error, and performance related errors we will see here. Here we can add the comments in Power Apps. We can tag another developer also here, and here we can see the preview of the application. And here we have the option to save the Power Apps, and also save with version note if you want to save the Power Apps. And so I generally prefer save with version note, because here we have option to put name and note also, like what we have changed, just like we do in a GitHub. Like after every commit we put a commit message, so it's better in future, like what version we have published and what we change in that. So I generally prefer save with version notes. And then at the end we have the publish button. So in order to share the application with the user, you have to publish the application first. So this is the general overview of the editor. So this is all for the today's video.